Welcome everybody to the Bar of DeMOCKracy. That's M-O-C-K, internet's most random show that you'll come across. We're gonna have 3 topics. We have no idea what they're gonna be, nor do we know who our host or hostess is going to be. But one thing is for sure, it's Friday night and we're doing it right. And there's only one way we do it, and that's the fuck 'em fam way. Y'all ready to smash the fash? Let's meet the gang, shall we? Oh, shit.
Hi, everybody.
Hey guys. What up?
Happy Friday. Or whatever the hell day it is.
Last time I
Well,
checked,
I spent like 30 minutes this morning thinking, God damn it, it's only Tuesday.
So, this has been a fun week. I want to go ahead and point out the obvious that our messaging has been working. Hakeem Jeffries is saying Words Project 2025 in the beginning of his press conference. Our messaging is really starting to come through, and they're mentioning it in committees. It's so funny because Ben Shapiro thought that he burned Eric Swalwell with his comment. Well, he actually,
out of his league.
well, what he actually did is he said to everybody, because my ass that Ben Shapiro doesn't know about the Heritage Foundation's plans. You know, he only gets like how much of his rhetoric from their exact, I don't know, writings. But it really shows that he doesn't give a fuck about the general public when he's making light of Project 2025. I know that the Republicans feel like it's the new boogeyman of the left, but that's only because they're not used to their plans being exposed and their coding. Well, he was able, to point out the fact that he did, he's an Orthodox Jewish person, and, he did, I guess, have to agree with what Eric Swalwell put on the board, saying that he thinks that homosexuality is a sin. And he said, the quote it said, I for one would like to have sex with many women, yet I don't. And Ben Shapiro said, yes, I agree with me, thinking that he was making a joke. And then Swalwell was like, yes, I'm sure you find it extremely difficult not to. Yeah, we know you're just beating them off with a stick there, Shapiro. We know, tough guy.
But you got him lined around the block, Casanova? Bye.
It's like the DMV. You just got to take a number up in the Shapiro house.
And we all want to know why he's always talking about how, can't get wet, shouldn't get wet, wife don't get wet. I wonder why.
It's not supposed to get wet. That's what his wife told him.
Well, listen to listen to that.
That he was like feeling bad about himself one night, and she just like rolled her eyes harder than she'd ever rolled them before, looked up at the ceiling and said, "No, honey, it's not supposed to get wet. Stop feeling bad about it." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he started telling his friends.
Well, that's interesting, because the whole time that I was thinking that it was perfectly normal for you to think that way.
That would have hurt if she doing that shit dry. Come on. Yeah. My pussy would dry it too if I had to.
Well, the thing is like I said, A, that voice. So she has to deal with that voice regularly. And then B, like every time that he's in front of a camera, he's whining and playing the victim. Tell me you want to be like in a relationship with somebody who is constantly just like, yeah, the world's against me because I'm actually a really bad scriptwriter and Lady Balls actually failed.
Oh my God, I forgot about Lady Balls.
Was it Lady Balls or Lady Ballers? I don't know. It was
Lady. You're right. It doesn't affect
I just
Western
know that
United.
every time the Daily Wire
That's
puts out anything, it's horrible and it doesn't make money. Like that horrible Western they put out that made $784 at the box office.
That's their heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, and what the
Pure
fuck would that
talent.
Western be about?
I honestly don't know.
I
Like
guess. I mean,
probably
I'd be interested just to see.
the
Like,
Lord or something because it's on the Daily Wire.
ain't no, it's not no tombstone.
It's not Deadwood, damn it. So let's return to the chopper hopper. Get me a drum roll. Let's find out who our host or hostess will be for tonight. And oh shit! Friend from down under, Captain Terp.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Surprises, guys. It's my second time on and my first time hosting because I don't usually get bandwidth at this time of the week, but I've upgraded my internet.
Well, we're glad that you were able to
So
join
we're
us.
doing
So
it.
happy to hear.
Good.
We love
We can do
Turp.
it now, and I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, like
I can see and hear and see. That was the bit I
You see,
couldn't do before.
You just need to look your sister up. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome.
So do you want me to throw a topic up?
well, yeah. Let's go ahead and give me
Go
2
ahead.
seconds. Make sure everything is
I
fine
personally,
and dandy.
I think the first one we should look at should be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her magnificent effort of filing impeachment charges on Samuel All-In Alito Jr. and Clarence Clearance Thomas.
That's right. She has filed articles of impeachment. Do you
My girl.
understand the amount of sack that it takes to file articles of impeachment against 2 Supreme Court justices who are bought and paid for by somebody like Harlan Crow?
I'm tipping about 2 golf clubs worth of old man ball sack. And that's a lot. That's a lot of ball sack.
Well, does anybody have just offhand the amount of gifts that Thomas and Alito have received? Because compared to, if I'm not mistaken, Judge Jackson, she reported the Beyonce tickets. I know Sotomayor had a few gifts, but they were like paltry compared to, I mean,
Like actually taking money to like sway Supreme Court decisions, maybe.
well, I mean, we know that there's always the motor coach that Clarence Thomas was given, and that his mother's house is bought and paid for. Amongst, didn't it recently come out about what was the crazy yacht trip that he took?
There was a bunch. When
It was a yacht trip.
The Russian shit.
Yeah, here we go. I found something. Let me go back and find it. There's a whole video I think I just found. It just goes through a bunch of stuff. A history of accepting undisclosed gifts of Justice Clarence Thomas. And it just goes through a bunch of tuition for his grandson, round trip private flights, meals and lodging, yacht trip to the Russia and Baltic.
That was
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
went to St. Petersburg. He went to University of Nebraska games, Indonesia on a yacht. He's been everywhere.
it sounds perfectly legal and logical to me. I don't know about you. That's where
He didn't get the motorhome. They paid off the loan for the motorhome. You know, because details matter.
No, I think he paid the interest only.
Oh,
Was it?
Interest only for about 5 to 6 years, and then the guy wiped off That was like 250. So from what I've heard about Thomas, 4 million that's been reported over years, but they're saying there's hundreds that aren't reported.
Oh yeah.
So he's been on the Supreme Court since like 91, too. So is that 34 years? So I would say it's $8 to $10 million.
Oh yeah.
On top of him making 275.
I got him.
It's extremely interesting to learn. I actually used to play when I was on tour in a place called Seneca Lake in New York. And it's where they actually found the cure for tuberculosis. They would put people up there to breathe, like in these cure cottages. And little did I know that while I was doing that, I was 20 miles away from Harlan Hitler's cabin.
Wow.
That meant I was 20 miles away from Hitler's napkins.
So he has original Adolf Hitler paintings.
So, Turf, I got a quick question. Are you saying that Cortez has bigger balls than Shapiro? Just asking.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Shit.
Hell yeah, she ain't scared. She ain't
She's
scared.
a lady baller.
Yeah, like Betty White, she's got bigger balls than
She's got bigger balls
than most of them.
Yeah, that's the real lady baller right there. And the other great thing is that
Yep.
she is the one who's responsible for making sure that the charges that Michael Cohen confessed to in Congress that got him locked up are the things that actually got Trump convicted. Funny enough, because it was her line of inquiry is the one that opened that can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really want to
With
think
Michael
about
Cohen,
it,
yeah.
if we really want to think about it, AOC has probably been the most impactful when it comes to honest to God exposing the corruption of for lack of better words, the right. But in Sheldon Whitehouse. I want to go ahead and throw Sheldon Whitehouse out there too.
Oh yeah.
Sheldon
Mhm.
Whitehouse is making his career off of this. This is, I believe, like he even wrote a book. Like this is going to be his legacy. Was pointing out the corrupt Supreme Court.
This
Yeah.
is his magnum opus.
Oh yeah, by far.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
And-
goodness that there are people out there that are doing the work like that are paying the fuck attention and digging in and looking at, who's funding these trips that these guys are going on and, what's behind all of this. To hold these people accountable because they've said so themselves. We don't need a code of ethics. We'll hold ourselves accountable. Don't worry about us. No. We're above the law. You know what? The president's above the law too. Let's just put that out there. And I'm sure, they'll put something out there. It doesn't matter. It's all terrible.
Yeah, totally. You'll hold
He's
yourself accountable. Yep, sure. It's been working really well so far.
Real world.
Well, they didn't recuse from any of the cases that either of their wives had to do with.
They're blame it on their wives. What a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
And what did they do the last day of their term? They cleared the way. They knocked down the last pens that would clear the way for Project 2025 to become what the Enabling Act of 1933 was for Germany.
That's absolutely
To
correct.
clear the way for Trump. And then they fucked off to, vacation for the next, thing that the millionaires are paying them to go on their
Mm-hmm.
vacations for. I mean,
I cannot remember who it was doing an interview, and they straight up said, this election is about the Supreme Court. Like, I believe it's
I saw that
it's on the
last
it's on the Biden Harris Twitter page. I mean, they're announcing every single plan they have out loud because their plan is if they fail is to try to go the cult into violence while they are sitting in country clubs.
I mean, it's the same reason they want Project 2025 wants all the public school children to take the ASVAB. Oh, but not the private school children.
No,
And not the parochial school children. No, those don't have to. They'll
Suddenly
send,
War
you know, the
Pigs
children
comes
of the
to
poor and the
mind.
struggling to die.
Yeah. You know, war is old men sending young men out to die. It's always been that way.
Old rich men.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know, Smedley Butler, you know, he wrote "War's a Racket for a Reason," and best part is he ended up foiling the business plot. You know, the original attempt at a fascist takeover in the 1930s. If you're not familiar with the business plot, it's definitely worth looking into, because you know, people, there were tycoons who were like, I have no problem spending half of my money to save the rest of it, because they thought, because FDR was in, that they were going to be, well, the same thing that Biden do. You know, they're going to get taxed. And, well, you know, one thing the rich really hate doing is paying taxes. So they were like, hey, we can pay the bonus army, because they weren't paid the bonus that they were originally promised from World War One. And, you know, use their discontent and rile them up and get them to march on Washington. And we can get Smedley Butler to lead them, because he's a general that they all trusted, going around the world. And at the last minute, after he got all the information he needed, he just went on television and blew it up. He's just like, yeah, a fascist plot going on, and they want me to lead it, and I don't wanna.
Did we get a figure on what the total was in donations? Oh, sorry.
I know Tony was pulling the numbers up.
Oh, I found some gifts, but yeah, because some of them are, you don't know what they spent on them. Easily 10 million. Some of them said like 15. It was all over the place. You've seen so many numbers, they don't know.
Oh, the last solid number I heard was 4, so that's a shock.
Honestly, to me, like, I don't care about the number. You know what I mean? Like, $4 would have been too much. And guess, I just think it's like, what surprises me is I'm surprised that I'm just coming to the realization that they created this infrastructure 30 plus years ago, and they've been playing the long game, and all of a sudden, this is it. This is the moment for them. It's do or die. And so
this is the 5 yard. This is the 5 yard line.
Yeah, they're calling it 4 million in gifts, which is why the 4 million number is probably the most widely seen. But they're also saying 10 million in bribes, kind of thing. So,
like,
who knows?
Gratuities.
That's lobbying.
We're going to be uncovering this for fucking decades.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing with Trump and everything they've done too. Also, we're going to be finding and reuniting parents and children from the border for fucking decades. We're going to be fixing what Trump and the Republican Party have done to us for decades. Have we learned our lesson yet? All the way down the ticket, guys. Senators, dog catchers, city councils, everybody. Vote blue. These people cannot be trusted with responsibility over people's lives.
You sound so much like Lisa Simpson right now, Vix.
Welcome.
Like you are Lisa Simpson, just laying it out right now. Like
Lisa Simpson, Debbie Downer, and a little bit of manic energy, just all mixed in there.
But yeah, that's where we're at. Like, there's a lot to fix after Trump.
Yeah, I mean, how many executive orders?
I told people it was going to be bad.
Yeah, how many executive orders did Biden have to sign?
I don't think we understood the scale.
Go ahead, Theron.
Sorry, I just like we knew it was going to be bad. I don't think we ever could comprehend the scale of the shit fuckery that they
How
perpetrated on us.
insidious it was. Like they got into everything. They tried to fucking get into everything.
Okay, so I have this Project 2025 list that I have pulled up. So this is a long list. I'm going to go through it as fast as I can. Purge the government of thousands of civil servants and replace them with unqualified far-right MAGA loyalists. Send the Justice Department after Trump's political enemies. Pardon violent January 6th traitors. Pack the Supreme Court. Enact a national abortion ban. Reverse the FDA's approval on abortion medication. Remove mentions of abortion from agency materials. Reverse Biden student debt. Reinstate student debt. Give tax handouts to the ultra and big corporations. Eliminate union and worker protections. Cut Social Security. Raise retirement age. Cut and privatize Medicare. Rip away healthcare from tens of millions by doing so. Remove protections for pre-existing conditions. Repeal Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. Abolish the Department of Education. Implement and expand book bans. Go after marriage equality. Repeal anti-discrimination protections for LGBTQ plus students. Reinstate Trump's transgender military ban. End climate protections. Withdrawal from Paris Climate Agreement. Repeal Inflation Reduction Act. There's still more. Place climate advisors with lobbyists. Deregulate big oil. Send the U.S. military after anti-Trump protesters. Put immigrants in mass detention camps. Rip immigrant children from the parents. Reinstate and ban Trump's Muslim ban. And that's the list that Biden HQ had posted. That
Sounds like pure fascism.
It sounds like a dystopian hellscape.
Like, where have we heard this before?
And they'll take
once all the migrants.
Go ahead.
Oh, once all the migrants are gone, who do you think they're going to put in those detention camps? Huh?
Well, they gotta keep them going. That's the thing.
$100 for a person, for a white person, go out there and pick it, and then make your groceries go up.
Well, the thing is, they can very, very easily just go into the computer and revoke your citizenship status, and all of a sudden, you know, they can kick your door in.
And that's what I was getting at.
Or they're going to get the kids out there picking.
You protest Trump. If you protest Trump, you're no longer a citizen, and now you're in one of those camps because they need to fill them up. Yeah.
Yeah, and what constitutes a protest? Is it a tweet? Is it you talking to your friends? Is it a conversation that somebody
any sort of
overheard 2
dissent.
years ago? Yeah.
I mean, ask the Japanese Americans how they felt about putting in camps, you know, after World War II. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
If I'm not mistaken, was
They
it
can take your rights away anytime they please. Here you go, right this way.
Allow me to
You know, some people are saying they've already replaced the Constitution. That's it right there.
I mean, it
That's
literally.
they want to hold a constitutional convention.
Yeah.
I had a discussion about this with my husband today about Project 2025, and I'm trying to explain, and he's like, well, yeah, it's federal, but what about the state? And I'm like, you don't think the state is not going to go along with what the federal people are? It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter.
They have
the
to.
States' rights thing is over.
Yeah.
Once this act takes place. Forget
There is no
states' rights.
states' rights.
Yeah.
It's called the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. Federal law supersedes any state laws. Now, the states can't do shit.
Yeah.
Now, if I may, I'd like to interject.
Go ahead.
All those bullet statements that was just quoted off sound great, and they're fine. Here's your problem. The people that need to hear it is the MAGA side, which is not going to listen to this. Reason being, they will say, well, what page, chapter, and verse? You present that to them. Oh, That's a third party, ergo Heritage Foundation, somebody else. Then you say, well, who wrote some of that stuff? Well, this person, all on the list. And they will turn around and say false information or something like that. So it's almost, I don't know how you want to put it. It's almost non-profitable to even speak to this stuff to the mega site because they're not listening. We're wasting our time with them.
And then they'll wait till
Tomcat.
it's too late, and then it'll affect them, and they'll be like, "Oh my God," well.
Yeah.
I'd go so far as to say the cult are beyond reach for the most part, but there is a huge wave of independent swing voters in the middle who are the deciders, who are the don't vote every time but vote most of the time. And we've got to try and get to them, and our message is breaking through to the mainstream.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, if they really want to see it for themselves, they're not going to look at 900 pages. Most people that lazy, yes.
They're certainly not going to look at it because we want them to look at it.
Right. But if we cut it out in a script form, that's still not going to work, is what I'm saying. I've tried.
If we stop focusing our energy on those that are pretty much permanently lost in the cult, there's a lot that aren't lost in the cult that are just on the edges and might go one way or might go the other or might not vote at all. They're the ones we need to hit.
Yeah. Because a lot of them, if they are paying attention, they're dialed into the wrong dialed in places, and they have no idea that,
Correct.
None of those news stations, especially the ones on the right, have been covering anything but Biden gaffes for the last 3 weeks. They haven't covered Project 2025. Yeah.
Or Epstein.
Or Epstein, yeah.
Yeah, no Epstein.
I've heard none of that on like local radio or local news or anything like that. Nope, just Biden gaffes.
Well, funny enough that we mentioned Project 2025 because, hey, Terp, why don't you tell us about your second topic?
Okay. The second one, I'm very happy to say, is the furry hackers siege sec, who took down the Federal Society.
Can we raise a glass to the
Heritage
gay
Foundation,
furry hackers?
God bless
I
y'all.
raise my glass to you, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, ladies, possibly non-binary, trans, we're never sure, but all I know is that they exposed some dirty stuff. Chinese connections.
I'm so excited. I've heard zero about this. I'm stoked. Tell me everything.
So before you even dig into the data, the chat thread reveals some absolute pure bigotry.
Oh yeah, and then he doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on it the next up until currently of just don't care.
He's still doubling down to Jackie Singh, who reached out for comment.
Comment on what, the leak or what he said?
Yeah, on both the leak, the threats that were made, and the things that were said during the chat.
Yeah, she's probably the best source that I found on this as well. She had a full on thread about it.
Everyone's thread kind of points back to hers, so yeah, she's the center of that.
And she's calling out the disinformation campaign following it, and going around, even including Project 2025, of its bot accounts, because when you reply to them, they reply with not a reply bot. And that was her.
We knew that there was going to be massive bot interference in this election, just to try to boost up. The moment that any left-leaning source posts any clip, there's already like Trump 2024 bots just pow 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 pow.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And they're paid. They're paying for the reach on shitter because they're all blue check. Some of them are blue check mark.
Well, did you see
it's
that
not even just
Garland
bots that
busted
are
one?
interfering.
Go ahead, Godfrey.
I was saying it's not even just bots that are interfering, it's corporations. Facebook isn't letting people talk about Project 2025. And their fact
Nope.
check on it is a conservative site that shares, I believe, some board members with
It's
the
the
Heritage
Dispatch.
Foundation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried to post the Project 2025. I think it was Occupy Democrat. I don't know. With Trump, except wouldn't even let me post it. Kept kicking me. Wouldn't even let me post it.
Mm-hmm.
Swap the 0 and the O.
Well,
Good way to get around.
also, you know, I mean, making your avatar in the graphic, you know, I did that months and months ago, and it's funny because, you know, I mean, the right is treating Project 2025 like it's the left's version of QAnon, and they're mad because we know their plans and they're just going to have to cope. But, you know, I've been getting responses like, you know, just your typical MAGA bullshit that it's just some Johnny come lately conspiracy theory. And I'm like, is that why I've been doing content on it for like the last 8 months for the Tony Michaels podcast? You know, I mean, go ahead and avatar. Look how long ago that I changed it. So, you know, I mean, they're really doing their best to try to gaslight their way out of this because this is political poison to them.
Yep.
To any rational thinking person, this is an absolute dystopian nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's their wet dream, but
yeah,
it's a dystopian nightmare to anyone rational or normal.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
and the fact that this is a bear trap because the more they try to wriggle away from it, the worse it gets because there's so much provable evidence that it obviously shows that, you know, they're just lying to you with no problem at all. Like, there's the list. Let's take a look at that. Go
It's
ahead.
a pretty extensive list.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to say that there's a one or two coincidences. This is well planned. This is well thought out. There is no coincidences.
This is what they call orchestrated.
We have a word for that kind of thing. It's called suspicious. God bless Aldo Rain. Aldo Rain. I need a votive candle. I really do. I think I'm going to make one.
Do you need me to light a candle, hun? Because I can. And it's 3 weeks, baby.
That's fantastic.
They're fucking Nazis.
Yeah, they are. And we're on to them. Now, this is one of the best parts. This is where I suppose not only the bear trap metaphor, but also the Schadenfreude kicks in. And that's where you have to see the most recent clip of Kevin Roberts. And he's still throwing Trump under the bus because he's like, no. I worked hard on this. Like, I want the credit. No. Like, they were so cocky with it. Like, being out in, you know, this 900-page accessible book that, you know, Dr. Rachel Bidikofer got sent one for free. Like, they're so rich they can just send 1,000-page books to you for free. And, he feels scorned almost. It's like, and then you know, with them having to take away the red meat of it, it's like, but I made this for the RNC. This is supposed to, but oh, it's so good.
What was he on? What show was he on? I didn't see that clip.
Will Kane.
Real Kane. Schmear schmang.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're trying to back away from like Trump's trying to back away from all the work that they all put in. like how many of them sacrificed like hours with their family so they could, contribute to this fascist manifesto, and like now Trump is like, no.
Oh, they're circle jerking. Yeah.
Well, the best part about it is that, like,
Sorry,
like
that was awful.
Well, the more he, good God, the more they try to wriggle away from it, the worse it gets, because it shows their voters that they have no problem lying directly to their face about something that would genuinely end the American way of life. And I'm glad the media is finally picking up on it. And the only other thing, and I'm sure you agree, Terp, since this is what you chose, that we just need them to pick up on now is, well, I mean, I think that this meme says it all, truly.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me they didn't know each other.
And I just love how Margo's like, it's Agenda 47, not Project 2025. We're like, it's the preamble, bro.
Evan Roberts looks like he does look like a Nazi guy, but just add like a scar over his eye, and then a monocle in another one, and then. Yeah.
He looks like the villain principal in an 80s movie. Like, I forget who it was. It was one of the late night comedy shows, but they said that he looks like the dad who gets mad because his daughter wants to date the poor guy. But as we were pointing out with Epstein, I mean, good Lord, those are salacious things that happened. And why has the media been so silent about it? I mean, Ted Lieu brought it to everybody's attention from the press conference.
Let's just roll into it. Let's roll straight into it. Number 3 is the dirtiest, creepiest, rapiest elephant in the room. It is Doe 174. It is the Epstein files. It is there is a predator, a sexual predator, a rapist, a look. There's plenty of words, and I can string them all in a row. But we don't need to bring it up.
But how many other people, like in media and all that, that are probably a part of that are trying to?
Oh, the media's 100%. We're hearing everything about right now because they're doing everything they can not to let this come to the public light and basically end the race, because the race is over when the general public knows what went on.
And
he has his own kids on those planes.
Most of the point, this woman is the same age as Ivanka. He was basically proxy raping his daughter.
Yeah, she looked a lot like
past that.
No, he would
This is beyond a sexual fantasy. This is sick.
Yeah, he would pick young girls that looked like Ivanka specifically because they had the same collarbones. It's just gross.
Did I read it wrong to where that Trump is also molested young boys as well, or did I read that wrong?
Well,
no, you read that right.
Yeah,
you did not. I read that.
You read it right. It's all in the documents.
Yeah. Okay. So it ain't just little girls he liked. I mean, apparently
there's,
his
there's a lot
kids
of
were all
lies.
like, what the fuck did he let these other people do to his own kids?
It's just
Think about that.
beyond
Those men are
disturbing.
evil.
And the thing is every time that you bring this up to MAGA, they like to bring up, like, well, Clinton's name is on there. Well, put him under the fucking jail too. Like, that's the difference between the left and the right.
We have no problems throwing Bill under the bus.
No, if you're on the pedophile list, I don't give a shit who you're about.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry.
Epstein's air of legitimacy put him in a power circle that had him rubbing shoulders with some of the richest and most powerful and influential people in the educational circuit. So he appeared to all as being legitimate, but yeah, as it turns out, he was anything but. It was all just a concocted. It was a fantasy.
I mean,
and done very well too. With two,
Bill Barr's dad that hired, Epstein in the first place. And so that makes me think, well, Bill Barr's dad wasn't such an upstanding man because, I mean.
That's extremely interesting.
And Bill Barr was Attorney General when Epstein was unalive.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And
that's
that
extremely
was very
interesting.
Quickly disappeared from the public view.
Yeah. Like they thought it was going to fix things. Like there's not information out there that wouldn't be, released. Even though I don't know if everything died with him, but there's records.
I mean,
somewhere.
Bill Barr also is the same one that threw Michael Cohen in solitaire.
And went and threw him back in prison after.
Yep.
He refused to surrender his First Amendment rights.
But yet he, resigned right before the whole insurrection thing happened? Like, like he...
He saw that coming and knew he couldn't go down with that.
Was it when he was starting to implement Schedule F, right? Like when he was bringing people like Cash Patel. Yeah, it's when he was bringing people like Cash Patel in, like at the last minute. I remember like looking at that being and like, these are dictator moves. Like he's planning something.
And Joe repealed it, I believe. One of the first things he did, repeal Schedule F.
Well, he unfucked a lot of stuff using executive orders. Yeah. I remember they were all whining about how many executive orders he used. And it's like, there's a lot to unfuck.
I mean, it had to have started like it was in the 80s.
Yeah. Do you know of or have heard about the new apostolic reform, the NAR, or what they call the Seven Mountains?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are the people working to. Those are the people touring with Carrie Lake this summer, going from town to town, teaching pastors how to go into their communities and take them over.
Yeah.
Meaning teachers, being from the churches and all of that.
But also sporting clubs, in media, being involved in every aspect of daily and public life, having a position where you have platform and a voice and some sort of authority where possible. It's very calculated and very well organized.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Heritage has how Opus Dei judges on her bench.
Yeah.
Actually, for those of you playing along at home and don't know who Opus Dei is, who thinks they can probably give the best definition?
Oh, I wish Cynthia were here.
Yeah, Cynthia is the
Yes.
Really, she really does know about that.
I only know surface level information,
Is
and
that like really, really old school Catholicism, or is, oh, I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit of more Googling.
well, I mean, these are the people who, for lack of better words, they're like how when the Jekyll Island meeting happened and they created the Fed and stuff. These are the people who make these behind the scenes shadowy moves who finally, until they're sprung upon the Supreme Court, they don't affect us, and then suddenly once they affect us, they can't come back. And that was one of the things that I have to be so thankful about, is that this all came to light, because dictatorships only thrive in the dark. That's why they hate journalists so much, because they can expose their plans to the public, because the public's not generally down with fascism. And if you read any of how the Nazis came to power, it was stripping one little right away at a time, at a time, at a time, at a time. But nobody was really paying attention, because they don't have like social media the way we do now to cause mass alerts to people. The only propaganda they got was just approved propaganda. So it was just the Weimar Republic was too busy just dancing on a razor's edge to pay attention to every small little right that was taken away, until it finally snowballed to the Nuremberg laws.
And I'm sure there were people there the whole time saying, "Oh, calm down. They're not going to take that right away," or "Oh, calm down. They're not really
You're
gonna,
overreacting.
cut funding for that really important thing. You're overreacting, or that could never happen here, or no one will ever let it happen here."
Yeah.
Hi, if you don't get up and do something, you are not part of the group of people that are stopping that bad thing from happening, and that bad thing doesn't get stopped from happening. It happens.
Well, once it becomes too late, it becomes too late.
Yeah.
That's the only problem, is once you have, all we can do is just be so thankful that these plans are so out there that people are going to be like, no, we don't need any more conservative fucking Supreme Court judges. Like, we will vote for Biden's dead corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Without selectively repealing portions of the First Amendment and repealing the 19th Amendment, they've gone and fucked themselves. By repealing Roe before repealing women's right to vote, oh, that was fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's gonna hurt.
Well, they've never been accused of being smart. Trump came in without a plan.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He still doesn't have one.
Man. That's why
His plan is whatever they says.
Well, in the last
plan is whatever keeps him out of
administration,
jail.
luckily there were people that had checks and balances. It didn't go completely fucking haywire. But with
There was
Project
a Miles
2025, they
Taylor. There
have
was a-
their conservative LinkedIn to ensure that only people that are in there are fucking cronies.
Oh yeah, it's a complete a stocking of the shelves of brown shirts
Oh yeah, it's
throughout administration and through upper levels of public services departments.
well, it's funny because they want
NIH,
to
EPA.
talk about using the National Guard in order to do their deportation roundups. But we all know that it's not going to be the National Guard. We all know that it's going to be private militias who do that shit because they're excited to do it. Like, just like that scene in Purge election night. Or was it Purge election year? I can't remember.
They can't wait. They can't wait till they can kill some gay trans people. They can't wait for that shit.
I mean, they've been chomping at the bit, what was... God, it's been so long. I can't remember the politician's name, but there was somebody who literally said at their speech, they said, "When do we get to use the guns?" It wasn't asking
It wasn't a what
why.
if.
Yeah, what if? is a question type scenario, but instead more of a, so we have these guns and you know what I mean?
We've been working up to something for a while, so tell us when to go, when
Yeah,
to kick off.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Basically.
about
Like my
it.
trigger finger is just real fucking itchy, and if y'all could let me know when it's okay to scratch this bad boy, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And what was the wasn't there like a congressman that spoke somewhere at a church and they're like, we need to kill these people and all this stuff. I was like, damn.
Was that Mark Robinson?
You know,
That was Mark Robinson.
Mhm.
He's not a congressperson. He's running for governor, I think, of North
Yeah, I'm
Carolina.
sorry. He was doing for governor, and I'm like,
Still crazy.
if I
Evangelical
may.
crazy. Like, you
yeah.
guys have got them.
Yeah. I think we have to be the only country that has this crazy evangelistic thing that we got. No other country, I don't think, does this
No,
shit.
I don't think
It's
so.
just us that have the crazy evangelicals.
Evangelism, evangelical,
I think it's an American thing.
whatever it is. Yeah, countries that do it, but it's not on nowhere near the scale that you guys
No.
have. And basically, it started, after television.
Oh, Billy Graham.
Well, I mean,
Well, lots of
they've
religions have
been
their.
they've been spreading
Evangelicalism
Christo
from the
fascism all
90s.
over the place, all over the world.
He
Like
even
it
had,
been hit really
Queen
hard.
Elizabeth when she was intrigued by him. I wanted to hear him
I got
speak.
to work with a few of them. It's insane. It is
I grew up in the
literally
church.
a cult. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Allow me to speak in context of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Guard,
Do.
the Reserve, and active duty military took an oath. We believe it. I'm retired military, as most of you already know. We won't put up with that crap. All right? We took an oath. We'll stand by it. We don't give a damn who the commander-in-chief is. You tell me to do something stupid like killing our own civilians, and we will jump your ass. That's just how we are in the military. All right? We're not going to play that crap. All right? So you want a bunch of good old boys with shotguns? They're going to eat lead, okay? I'll tell you that straight up. We're pissed. All right? The DNC right now has got these lawsuits saying, okay, we're going to shut off the military vote at which is a mail-in ballot at 12:59 or 11:59 at night on voting day. Well, that's when they're counted, but
Yeah.
The RNC.
No. I
The
mean,
DNC or
We're not-
RNC?
The
I'm
RNC.
sorry. When I'm thinking RNC, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm pissed about it. All right, I'm running my own little special campaign up
forgiven.
here in North Texas. It's a little red up here, and damn it, I'm getting some people's attention with that. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Well, it's great because there's 3 veterans on this panel, and all 3 of us, we took an oath to the Constitution, and we also took an oath not to follow unlawful orders. And the funniest thing is that Trump thinks
military people that are crazy like that with all
well,
that.
Trump thinks that he's going to be able to get the regular military to turn on its civilians, and he doesn't realize that the regular military is made up of mostly poor white, black, and brown people who made friends in the military and were taken from environments that maybe they weren't used to and taught that you're going to have to work together with everybody. And I can't imagine, because I mean, I was in a division, you know what I mean? I was in a division in the military, and I couldn't imagine me looking over at my friends and being like, so we going to...
Oh no, I think
Your mic's
we
gone
lost
out
his
again, Skip.
mic.
Cut out again. This is a great place for a break. We're going to
Only
shout out
when
to
you've
the
got
Twitch.
something-
Shout out everybody in Twitch.
Only when you got a profound thing to say does it just cut out on you.
Does it just
Never fails.
crap out? Welcome from what we've been working with. Shout out to Natch Girl, Marjorie, BZ, Derek's been hanging out in the chat. Triple's been in there. Kim, Zuni, Spark, Ratchet, Virgil, and this guy named Tony is in the chat.
Who
Shout
is
out
that
to Tony.
guy?
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not a very good chatter while I'm trying to do this. But
Twitch,
thank
if you have any questions, throw them in, and we'll get to questions and responses and everything like that. So they are all in on it, and the Trump stuff is gross. I don't even want to say it.
Yeah, it's you have a Google machine, just look up Doe174.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm really fortunate that my eyes are still suffering from a recent eye injury. I got a heap of ash in them, so my eyeballs got buffed like a set of old headlights. So I fortunately can't read black text on white background, so I can't read the actual details of the whole court filing, which is really fortunate, because from those two paragraphs, there's a whole lot of hurt in that document.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole other case. Oh, they're getting better, but it's like looking at the world through a dirty lunchbox. It's really hard.
Oh man,
I've got to be selective about what levels of light I can see, or eyes just flare out. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. It's very frustrating when you can't see. My eyesight went bad so quickly. Like, I was just like, huh. Like, man.
Shout out to Zuni in the chat, because it's another veteran.
That's right.
Yeah,
Army, I believe. Yeah.
Shout out to our veterans. Hi.
And if you
Thank
have a
you.
veteran in your life that you know is worried about our democracy or gives a shit about it or voting or anything, send them this podcast. Talk to them. Send them our way. Send them to the Discord. Get them involved.
Absolutely.
I can fucking promise you, if they still are proud of their military service, there's a part of them that still would love to serve, would love to give back, would love to do what they can to protect our democracy. And who knows? Give it a shot. Talk to them. Reach out. Send them this.
Everyone who thinks of themselves as a patriot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's just such a difference between patriotism and nationalism, and there's so many nationalists that can't seem to figure out the difference.
They've been paraded. They've had nationalism paraded in front of them, and been told that that's patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
No,
It's
patriotism
not
is loving your country no matter what.
And you support the people that go and fight for your freedom and don't use them as props. You do, you know what I mean? Like, quit it. I've known too many.
I can't even stomach 4th of July fireworks if that means anything to you.
Yeah, right.
You can't.
That means a lot. Like, I understand how difficult that is for some people. That's not for me, but my brother-in-law's fought with that, and I've seen it most of my life because he's been forever. But yeah, that's the hard part is people not understanding when it's difficult for others, and people are just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Or when they don't care.
You got to have the empathy.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't look
not-
at somebody like that and not go, oh, I would, just not. I'm sorry. I'm just a very empathetic person, and I'm in tune to people, and I just like when it bothers me when I can't help somebody or not do enough, and I know that I don't have that kind of power just to wave a magic wand, but boy, do I wish.
Well, I think that everybody on this show is decent people who wishes they could fucking heal the world, or you know, every homeless person a
Absolutely.
house.
We all do.
We're that we're good fucking people, and that's absolutely why I
Yeah,
love
we
doing
are.
this show with y'all. Was there any questions in the chat?
Oh yeah, chat was very lively tonight. Erica showed up. Derek had a great question for the vets. What about officers in the military, active duty? How will they respond to doing an unlawful action? Will the officers keep their oaths as well as General Milley?
I think
Yeah,
that he'll replace all those people with people that'll do what he wants.
You ever heard of friendly fire?
Millie's out.
Just saying.
But that's not him.
So many times.
Yeah, take that.
All right, later, Shuby.
Get out.
Thanks for hanging.
Well,
Bye bye. Bye bye, Brady Bunch.
Just
Follow
go right-
squares. That was
Squares.
great.
Well, I think
look over here.
yeah,
Look over
as far
here.
as that goes, we don't follow unlawful orders, and we make sure that the chain of command only works one proper way. And I think with that being said, because we're having some sound issues tonight, we want to thank everybody for joining us for episode number 16 of the Bar of DeMOCKracy.
So much. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation, and
Make sure that you follow the rule of 3. Tell 3 people to vote. Take 3 people with you to vote. Have a big party afterwards. It doesn't matter what kind of party. But you do give a good goddamn about your democracy.